Just his essence as well, like who he is, that just kind of vibrationally just kind of transfers. And so I definitely I almost like when I met you for the first time and I saw you performing, doing your sort of spoken word up there, you know, your performance,
my rambling,
your performance rambling.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, I loved your message. I loved your vibe. And I was like, this guy's a creative. And I'd love to kind of feature him as that. You know, we focus on the music and that's what it's about. Your shows are about the music, but you're part of the show as well. And so I wanted to give you that prop too. And I thought that was amazing that you did such a great job. Yeah. But Ben was like, and I've been wanting to interview him for like over a year now. And just whatever happened, things get busy. I had a whole lineup of people, and then nonetheless, we're here tonight finally to do this. And his new album is, he's working on a solo album.
Yeah, I think you can mention that one more time for our other viewers. You talk a little bit more about your new album. And
New album coming out, I believe June 1st or first week of June, but I think June 1st is going to be the day. There'll be some singles out before then. I've already got 4 songs recorded. It's a lot of new material. It's a different approach than what I've done with Collectivity. And there's going to be a new Collectivity record that's also in the works that I've been writing for a while. That's going to happen after that. But this one is coming from a little bit of a different place. It's a little more guitar focused. It's a little more hearkening back to some of my original heroes, as well as influenced by everything else. But like, you know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Hendrix, Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, kind of some of my early influences that I have never left. As well as, you know, a lot of jazz and funk in there as well. But yeah, kind of a little more guitar focused, smaller band, and also kind of a little more focus on a different part of, you know, my heart, I guess, or a different part of my intention for writing music, and coming from a little bit more of a using music as a kind of tool for kind of connecting rather than for just straight partying and dancing,
entertaining,
you know, and both of those things I love. And I never want to be without either one of them, but that's kind of the intention for this record.
Yeah. Did that come from your ayahuasca experience in some ways?
I think, not necessarily. I have been working on this for a while before that.
Oh, but, great.
It's music that I've written over the past year or so. And, but the ayahuasca experience was, I think a lot of the intention was helped to be pulled to the surface by that ayahuasca experience. Absolutely. And also the importance of it and the importance of like making it happen.
Got it.
Came from that Absolutely. And also just like the inspiration.
Yeah. Well, cheers to that.
Get going.
That's a mic bump. I've never seen a mic bump before. Is that a thing? It's a thing now. Yeah. Okay.
Cheers to that intention and for you making it happen.
Yeah. Thank
you
you
know,
so
in
much.
the interview for AKR and what you're doing in the studio, and then coming here and doing the Xtemporize Podcast. Yeah. I want as many people to know about your gifts as possible.
Thank you
because
so
you
much.
are
That
gifted.
means a lot to
Yeah,
me.
you are truly gifted. And it's so nice to receive that. And so, yeah.
And before we get out of here, because we won't keep them that much longer. But again, I'm here to represent the Backyard Improv. We've already learned so much about you. I'm going to defer back to that a lot. You know what I find? You know what I find interesting, and this is very self-serving. But one of the things I was telling somebody the other day, I'm enjoying this more than I even enjoy the club.
The Backyard Improv?
Yes.
Yeah.
And somebody said to me, why? The club was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah, the club was really cool. I really enjoyed it, but I was so busy tending to people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grab a video here and there and stuff like that, but I got to make sure this customer's okay, that person's doing this, but and all that kind of stuff. So I was so busy into the management aspect of it, whereas now, yes, I'm shooting and I'm organizing stuff, but I get to be involved, even though I did the whole rambling on in there too. It's a different participation type vibe that I have. And I really get to absorb the music more than I did there because I'm not as distracted. Yeah. So I'm fully listening. I'm deep listening to this. Mm-hmm. And when I watch you guys play, and then I turn to the audience, and this is a special audience because whether we have 60 people, 120 or 150 people, it usually doesn't exceed that. But, on average, it's right, 80 to 100 people. They are all engaged. They are all in watching you guys, as opposed to the bar, the restaurant, the this, the that. There's the TVs over your guys' heads or whatever it is where, people are loving the music, but some of them are talking. Yeah. Everybody's talking and they're like, which is okay. It's okay, but these audiences, they are laser focused.
They are. That's true.
Yeah. They're critical listeners.
They're critical listeners.
That's a beautiful thing. Like the environment is promoting that because it's not at a club. Like they came there for that, and not to worry about having a drink and all that stuff. And that's also a fun time and great for music. And but yeah, you're right. That is. And I have noticed that so first of all, the whole format is very unique. The whole format is very real. Mm-hmm. It's about the real thing of music, and that's why I like doing those. That's why and plus I love you, and all the cats. Thank you. And I have noticed that your prompts have been better because you're probably less distracted with everything else you're thinking about because you were trying to host those sessions. Right. And also run a club at the same time. Right. And either one of those things could be quite a bit in itself. Yeah. But I've noticed your prompts are a little bit just feel better to work with and a little more insightful or something. I don't know. Oh,
that's cool. And I always remind, I'm sorry, Raine, because I'll turn it over to you in a second. But one of the things that I enjoy the most, so I do this as a way to survive. I'm like you. I'm all in as an artist, as a creative type. So whether it's the painting or the music or whatever, I decided to choose this lifestyle, which is not an easy lifestyle to be all in with the arts, right? And so like you, I'm not part-time. And, there's times I wish I had the 401k, maybe not now, with what the hell is going on with the disaster we're having. But I just find it like healing, as we talked about. So when we're there, and this is why we have new faces all the time that come. Mm-hmm. And I always want to remind people, this is theatrical to me. So when you watch Ben and Ryan and Wally and Simon, the fact that they've never played as a group together, they have no idea what I'm going to say, then they know to look at you and look at your body language, your facial expressions, the way you connect and process, the way you connect with the other musicians. And when you start looking at it critically like that, it becomes very theatrical. So, how do you go about connecting with the other musicians. Is there a formula on who's going to play next? At what point do you take the lead? I know it's a process. You have to sit here and get used to each other, but is there a particular method you use?
I'm reminded of a long time phrase that we use in Collectivity, which is Jesus take the wheel in B flat. and so sometimes it's in B. I don't know. But that's a really good question. I mean, I think you're constantly drawing the line between when to take the lead and when to let other people take the lead. Because actually, a lot of times in those situations, I find that most people will be like, oh, I don't want to make the decisions. Because when you're a band leader, you have to make so many decisions and it's all on your shoulders, and so the glory comes with a lot of other responsibility. And so a lot of times when musicians get hired, they're not worried about being up front. They're like, oh, cool, I just get to hang. I don't have to be the one that's making all the decisions.
Right.
So I think there's a little bit of that, but those are, I think that there's kind of a communication level with music. Music is a language, right? For sure. And so there's like common communication tactics that you use. Somebody will start, and then most of the people, especially the cats that you're getting on the session, are going to be able to hear what they're doing right away, which is almost like, to be a full-time working musician, you kind of got to be able to, like, you probably have worked a lot on your ear. You got to be able to just be able to hear things and know what's happening. You got to be able to understand, like, that is whatever specific groove, and then we're going to go to the floor here. And there's certain little moves and progressions that we might be drawing inspiration from when we're improvising like that. Because you have to play together, so you got to kind of work on stuff. And then, hopefully, depending on who it is, and we also know, like, keys do this kind of role, sax does this role. So there's a certain element of, like, just an understanding when musicians are playing together that we're drawing from. And then also being open to how much improvisation can we put in here. Maybe, like, depending on who's in the band, how far are we going to take it? Because it might be like, we need to keep it straight down the line. It's super funky, and that's great. And then we might be able to go in a different direction, but there's balances to all of those different aspects.
Right.
And I could just talk about this for hours.
And you know what? I could listen to you for hours.
Me too.